So dear friends, moving on to our next topic, that is problem solving tips and tricks. So we have written here some of the guidelines, like first is stick to the basic equations. Remember one thing, that we have only three basic equations, like v is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square, and v square is equal to u square plus 2as. Any problem on the projectile motion can be solved by using these three equations. It is up to you and how you have to apply the particular equation for the given problem. But one thing is clear, question will be solved by these three equations only. So our second guideline is do solve complex problems. Generally, students has a mindset that in my exams this certain level of questions comes. So why should I go for complex questions? And I will solve some easy questions only. But the thing is, if you solve the complex problem, first of all, your concepts will be very clear. And second, you will get so much of confidence. And the exams you are preparing for. So these easy questions will be a cakewalk for you. So it is better to learn from a complex problem. Then third is, don't mug up, understand the logic. Generally, the student has tendency to mug up. So what will happen? They will mug up and they have to reread the same thing again and again and again. So before the examination come, so they have reread the same thing like 5 or 10 or 20 times. But if you understand the logic, you have to read the chapter or the given topic only once. And if I will wake up you at the midnight, and if I will ask you, can you do this projectile motion problem? You can do immediately. You need not to recollect, you need not to mug up, you need not to reread. You will do immediately, because your concepts are good, your concepts are strong. And fourth is, understand how to derive the basic equations. So just now we have derived the basic equation for the h, r, the total time. So it's very important. It's very important to understand these equations, because you get lots of concepts, and it will also help you in solving the numericals problems. And the first one is understanding the direction of vectors. So generally student has problems with the direction of vectors. So if you understand the derivation of basic equations, the lots of your doubts will be over, I think. And some people has a misconception, like the value of acceleration, that is g, while in a positive direction, when the body is going in the upward direction, it is positive, and when it is going in the negative direction or the downward direction, it is negative. So they will take g for the positive upward motion, and for the downward motion they will take g as negative. Don't do this, because you know the force of gravity is always in the downward direction. So we will always take a is equal to minus g. So you need to understand the direction of vectors. Similarly, same applies for the velocity vector direction, the displacement direction, etc. And the sixth one is have the positive attitude. Always have the positive attitude. Don't give up. You have this thing in your mind that as my concepts are strong, give me any problem, I will solve it immediately. Now friends, we will move to our next topic, that is to solve some numerical problems. So first we will tackle some problems from NCERT books. So first we will see a solved question from the NCERT. So the question is, there is one person who is standing on the top of the hill, and its height is 490 meters from the ground, and he throws a ball with a horizontal velocity of 15 meters per second. Now we have to find the time taken by the stone to reach the ground and the speed with which it hits the ground. So first we will calculate the time taken by this object to come to this position. So as you know, we have only three equations. So consider a vertical motion, because we have to find the time t and we have given the height h. So consider this equation for the vertical motion. So if we take this is as a origin, okay, this is our origin, and this one is positive y direction and this one is positive x direction. So the equation involving t and h is s is equal to ut plus half at square. So we have given s, that is the displacement when it reaches at this ground position. So as it is origin, and this one is minus 490 from the 0 axis. So s is minus 490, and what is u? That is the velocity in the vertical direction. We are considering a vertical motion. So because at the start it has only horizontal velocity, no vertical velocity, so u is 0. And what is the acceleration a? Acceleration is in this direction. So my acceleration is minus g, that is 9.8 meter per second square. So putting all these values, what I will get? So minus 490 is equal to 0 into t minus half 9.8 into t square. So this comes out to be t square, and this one is 4.9, and minus minus will cancel out with each other and I will get 490 here. So t square is 490 divided by 4.9. So it is equal to 100. So t is equal to 10 seconds. So this is my answer to the first question. So the time is after 10 seconds, this ball will come to this position. Now moving on to our next question, that is the speed with which it hits the ground. So as you know, what is the speed of the particle at this position is composed of two elements. That is, one is vertical, that is Vx, and horizontal Vx, and the vertical is Vy. Okay. So as you know that the horizontal velocity will always be the same, because there is no acceleration in the positive direction. So my Vx at the time it reaches at this position will be Vx is equal to 15 meter per second. Okay. Now we will calculate the Vy. So we want to find the final velocity Vf, that is we write as and we want to find the we know the time t, and we know the acceleration. So we will apply this equation, the basic equation V is equal to u plus at in the negative in the y direction. So the v u initial velocity in the vertical direction is 0. So u is 0 for vertical motion. U is 0, acceleration is minus g. So v is equal to, the velocity at this point is equal to acceleration, that is minus g, into the time it takes from coming from here to here, is t. So g is 9.8 minus 9.8 into time we have calculated as 10 seconds. So it is 10. So it is 98. So that means my velocity in the y direction Vy is 98. Sorry, it is minus 98, because it is Vy is in the downward direction. So my Vy come out to be minus 98 meter per second. Now as you know, the resultant or the final velocity will be the Vx square plus Vy square. So you know Vx is what? 15 meter per second square from this, and Vy is minus 98 whole square, and we will take a square root of this, and it will be around 99 meter per second. So this is my the resultant velocity, which will be in this direction, Vx square and Vy square, and I am here. Now we will consider another problem from the NCERT book, and this one is also a solved problem. So we have given that there is a cricket ball which is thrown at a speed of 28 meter per second, initial velocity of 28 meter per second, at the direction of 30 degree above the horizontal. This one is angle is theta is 30 degree, and we have to find the maximum height it attains. So see, like this is its motion, and we have to find the maximum height h, and b, it is asking for the time. So time when it return to the same ground position, that is time of the flight or coming from here to this position. And third, we have to find the distance from the thrower to the point where the ball returns to the same level. So from this point to this point we have to find the range. So it's a very simple question, and it is basically we know the formula for maximum height, the range, and the total time of the flight, and we have to put these values into these equations that we have just derived, and we will get the answer. So first one is the calculate the maximum height. So as you know, the maximum height is initial velocity vi sin theta, sin square theta, vi square divided by 2g. So we know initial velocity vi is 28 meter per second, and theta is 30 degree, and g is 9.8 meter per second square. So I will put this value, and what I will get, 28 whole square sin square 30 degree. You know value of sin 30 degree is half, so sin square 30 is 1/4 into 2 into 9.8, and you will get your answer as we will calculate 28 whole square, then I have 1/4 here, then 2 here, then 9.8 here, and I will get you will solve this, and the answer will come out to be 10 meter. So I have calculated the first thing. Now we have to find the total duration of the flight. So you know TF is 2 V naught sin theta divided by g. So it is 2 Vi sin theta by g, and you know Vi is 28 and sin 30 degree, and your g is 10. So or we will take 9.8 as given in the problem. So we will get the answer as 2.9 seconds. So it's a very easy question. Next we will find the range. So as you know, we have just derived the equation for the range is V naught square sin 2 theta divided by g. So V naught is 28 whole square, and sin 2 into 30 it is sin 60 degree divided by 9.8. So I will get as 69 meter. So this range is 69 meter, and h is 10 meter, and the duration of flight TF is 2.9 seconds. Let's do one problem from the unsolved exercises from the NCERT book. So the question number is 4.16, and the question is, a cricketer can throw a ball to a maximum horizontal distance of 100 meter. How much high above the ground can the cricketer throw the same ball? So consider a projectile motion. Cricketer is there and he has thrown a ball, and the maximum range, maximum distance it can cover is 100 meter, and we have to find the how much maximum height he can throw the ball. So you know the formula for R. So formula for R is Vi square sin 2 theta divided by g. So you know the R is equal to R max when this term is 90 degree or theta is 45 degree. So putting this value, I will get R as 100 meter, Vi square I don't know, and the value of g, that is I will keep it as g only, and sin 2 theta is 1, so this one. So this is the maximum. This is I got V is 100 is equal to Vi square by G. So you know, now we will come to the formula for the maximum height. So maximum height H formula is given by Vi square sine square theta divided by 2G. You know when the sine theta is maximum, when sine theta is 1, that is at theta is equal to 90 degree. So what I will get, H maximum H possible is Vi square 2G, because Vi is same, because Vi is the max velocity at which he can throw the ball. So it is Vi square by 2G. So now you can see the value of Vi square by G is 100. So the value of Vi square by 2G will be 50. I will put the value of Vi square by G as 100. 100 by 2 is 50. So maximum height he can send the ball is up to this height, 50 meter. Now we will solve another problem from the NCERT book. This one is unsolved problem. The problem number is 4.29, and I will read out the problem. A bullet fired at an angle of 30 degree with a horizontal hits the ground 3 km away. By adjusting its angle of projection, can one hope to hit a target 5 km away? Assume the muzzle speed to be fixed and neglect air resistance. Okay. Now consider a case here. See, at angle theta degree, I have projected one bullet, and how much range it cover? R. I will name it R1 as 3 km. That is 3000 meter. So you know the formula for the range for any given angle theta is Vi square, that is initial velocity, sine 2 theta divided by G. So at theta is equal to 30 degree, R is equal to R1 is equal to 3000 meter. So I will put this value into my equation. I will put as equation number 1. Equation 1. So what I will get, 3000 is equal to Vi square sine 2 theta is sine 60 degree divided by G. So you know value of the sine 60 degree is root 3 by 2. Okay. I can rewrite as Vi square root 3 by 2G. Now we have been asked, can it hit a target 5 km away? So let's do one thing. First find the maximum range possible. So from the equation 1, we know the maximum range possible. So when R max is equal to R at theta is equal to 45 degree, its value is R is equal to Vi square sine 2 theta is sine 90 degree, it is 1, divided by G. So from equation 2, I will get the value of Vi square by G as 6000 divided by root 3. So I will simply put this value. So it will be from equation 2, from equation 2, Vi square by G is equal to 6000 divided by root 3. So the value of from equation, this one is equation 3. So from 3, R max is equal to Vi square by G is equal to 6000 divided by root 3. So what I will do, I will multiply to get this, to solve this problem, I will multiply both numerator and denominator by root 3, and I will get here 1.732 into 6000 divided by 3. So it will be 2000 into 1.732. So I will multiply this. So I will get here 4, 6, 4 and 3 into 10 power 3, that is 3.464 kilometer. So my dear, the R max is 3.464 kilometer, and you want to send this ball with the at the 5 kilometer. So it is just not possible. Probably you have to increase your initial velocity, but with the given initial velocity you can't. So it is not possible. So friends, let's solve another problem from the NCERT book. Its number is 4.30. So I will read it out for you. A fighter plane flying horizontally at an altitude of 1.5 km with a speed of 720 km per hour passes directly overhead an anti-aircraft gun. At what angle from the vertical should the gun be fired for the shell with muzzle speed 600 meters per second to hit the plane? And the second question is, at what minimum altitude should the pilot fly the plane to avoid being hit? And take G as 10 meters per second square. Okay, let's do this problem. So there is a anti-aircraft gun located at the ground, making some angle theta with a vertical, making some angle, I will say angle alpha, suppose alpha with the vertical, and we have to find this value of alpha, so that like right now at this position, there is an aircraft with a speed of 720 km per hour. 720 km per hour this plane is flying. So at this instant, when it is directly above the gun, this plane is flying. Now we have to find the angle alpha at which this anti-aircraft gun should fire a cannon so that it will hit the target. So like this, the trajectory of this is here, is this, and now I have fired a ball and it's following some trajectory and it is hitting the plane here. So this one is the where the collision will take place. So we have to find the value of alpha. Okay, so it's a very simple question. So the thing is, the time it takes, suppose here at this point they are colliding, so the time the flight that this aircraft takes for going from here to this position should be equal to the time this bomb will take to arrive at this position. So let's first convert this speed as 20 kilometer per hour in the meter per second. So we have given the speed of aircraft. I will write as VA. A for aircraft is 720 kilometer per hour, which is same as 720 into 1000 meter divided by 3600 second, which is equal to 2 and 200 meter per second. Okay, so VA is given as 200 meter per second. Now first we will apply the equation for VA for the aircraft. So you know there is no acceleration on this aircraft, and it is moving with the velocity of 200 meter per second. So you know S is equal to ut. So suppose they are colliding at this position, and this distance is suppose x. Okay, and we have given the height of this plane at this point as 1.5 kilometer or 1500 meter. Okay, so first let this distance is x from the origin, and we have taken this one as origin. So let's do the same thing, apply the equation. So you know S is equal to ut plus half at square. So first we are solving for aircraft, and first we are doing it in the horizontal motion. Anyway, there is no vertical motion of this aircraft, so we are considering a horizontal motion. So S is x here, horizontal distance, displacement, and u, the velocity with which it is flying, is 200 meter per second into the time t. So t is the time it takes to reach at this position, 200 into t. Now consider the motion of a fireball. So consider for fireball, first we will consider a horizontal motion. So as they are colliding, the x will be the same. So we know x is equal to, we will apply the equation S is equal to ut plus half at square again. So you know the value of S is x. The velocity in this direction, that is in horizontal direction, is Vi sine alpha. Earlier we used to take angle theta from the horizontal direction, but they have taken it from the vertical direction. This is alpha. So this has initial velocity of 600 meter per second. It is the velocity of 600 meter per second. So I will write into t. T is the time it takes to reach at this position. So I will write t is the time for the collision. Now I have got x equal to Vi sin alpha t. So my first equation is x is equal to 200 into t, and my second equation is Vi sin alpha t. Equating x from both these equations, what I will get? Vi sin alpha t is equal to 200 t. So t will cancel out with each other, and Vi is given as 600, then sin alpha, then 200. So I will get sin alpha as 1 by 3 and alpha as sin inverse of 1 by 3. So it's a very easy question. Okay. Now we will solve another question, the second question. At what maximum altitude should be the pilot fly the plane to avoid being hit? So the formula for H is V naught square sine square theta divided by 2g. So the fireball will attain the maximum height when theta is equal to 90 degree, that is sin theta is equal to 1. So maximum is V naught square by 2g. So the value of V naught square is given as 600 meter per second square 2 into 10, which is equal to 36,0000 divided by 20. So this will be 18. So it come out to be 18,000 meter or 18 kilometer. So actually what will happen, like this plane is flying here and aircraft gun is here. So it will release the fireball with such a timing that when it attains, like it's flying at 18 kilometer at altitude of 18 kilometer. So at that time this fireball will reach here. So the time taken by the flight for coming from this position to this position should be equal to the time taken by this fireball to come from the ground to this position, and in this case they will collide. But this plane should be fly just above the 18 kilometer. So I can say the H safe will be the greater than 18 kilometer, because this aircraft can fire at any desired angle theta. So it knows the maximum will be achieved when theta is equal to 90 degree. So it will make an angle of 90 degree and it can go up to a 18 kilometer distance. So this plane will fly just above the 18 kilometer. Now we will solve another problem from NCERT book, and this one is also a simple one, and its number is 4.32. Show that for a projectile the angle between the velocity and the x-axis, the function of time, is given by theta t is tan inverse v0y, that is the initial velocity in the vertical direction, gt, divided by vox, that is initial velocity in the x direction, vox. So it's a very simple question. So suppose this one is a projectile motion, this one is x-axis, this one is y-axis. Suppose at time t, x position is this and the y position is this. Now it has a velocity towards tangent to this projectile motion, like here, this one is v. So it is, velocity is here. So it has two components. One is vx, velocity along the x-axis, and the velocity along the y-axis. Okay, so this one is angle theta. So we know tan theta is equal to vy by vx, and as you know the formula for vx, you apply the simple formula, v is equal to u plus at. So u is initial velocity, that is vox, and acceleration in the horizontal direction is 0. So vx is equal to vox only. And consider a vertical motion. So Vy will be the initial velocity. Now u, v is equal to u plus at, and u initial velocity in vertical direction is Voy, and then acceleration is minus g along the negative y direction, so I will take it as a minus g and at time t. So I will get tan theta as v naught y minus gt divided by Vox, or we can write theta is equal to tan inverse v naught y minus gt divided by Vox. So it's a very simple question. Now come to the another question, the part B, and we have to show that theta naught is the angle at which this projectile is being projected, is equal to tan inverse 4 hm and r, where h is the maximum height and r is the maximum range. So we know the formula for hm as v naught square sine squared theta divided by 2g, and the formula for the range r as v naught square sine 2 theta divided by g. So let's solve from the right hand side. So let's see what is the ratio of hm by r. So this is our equation 1 and this is our equation 2. So from 1 and 2, hm divided by r is equal to sine squared theta divided by 2 sine 2 theta. So which is equal to sine squared theta divided by 4 sine theta and cos theta. So it's come out to be a sine will cancel out with each other, and I will get tan theta, sine theta by cos theta, tan theta by 4. So we will go from the right hand side to prove this equation. So we know RHS is equal to tan inverse 4 hm by r, but we know hm by r as tan theta by 4. So I will put this value, I will get tan inverse 4 tan theta divided by 4. So this is equal to tan inverse tan theta, which is equal to theta and which is equal to left hand side. So it's again a very simple and very easy problem.